I hope you guys are doing awesome. So, a little more about this dress that I'm working on, okay? So, when I first get an idea of a dress that I want to make, I will get inspired by some fabric, and I will pretty much by, okay, I'm inspired by this fabric. Let me go ahead and get the dress, get the fabric, get it done, and have no experience on working on these type of special occasion dresses, knowing the base stuff, dressmaking, what they teach you in school, the bias, this, that, and that. So what I realize is working with these amount of layers, okay, when you working with these type of dresses. So I learned everything from online, Penn Foster College. So if anybody want to get a diploma in dressmaking and pattern design, Penn Foster College, I graduated it, and I have a diploma in that. So everything I learned was from the book, just everything from the book. So you learn all this, but if you just reading and doing it is two different things, okay? So you can read and know the basic of sewing, the measurements, this, that, and that, but to actually take something like this and physically do this, and I would say every project that I've been tackling, I learned something new. I learned something different. That stitch gun is amazing for working with organza and satin fabric, because this fabric has the tendencies when you cutting it, it shifts, it moves on you. So anybody that's going to be making dresses and doing a bunch of layers, get this stitch gun. Is on Amazon. What this thing doing up like that? I got it in backwards. I don't know. But get you this stitch gun, okay? Get this. This will, is it right? Okay, yes, right. It'll save you a lot of time where you could take the fabric, and what it'll do is stop the fabric from shifting from right to left when you cutting it. And that's why a lot of times you see people put weights on their pattern, and that still don't troubleshoot it, the silky satin fabric from moving. So it moves. I learned that this fabric, as far as wrinkles, you're never really gonna always get all the wrinkles out. So just kind of knowing that. So like if I ever did a dress for somebody, I'll let them know, hey, these wrinkles is not gonna come out. And then with the weight of this and those 10 layers and pulling down, so between here and here is making this part kind of pulls down. So I'm gonna have to build a modesty panel, right, and connect it and cover up here, because I noticed that from the weight of all this fabric is pulling the fabric down, okay? So that's why a lot of times they would use the modesty panels too to kind of cover up and camouflage. So when you put it together in between here, and also the weight of this dress, I also had to use this heavy duty binding and ribbons and stuff to hold this piece and to hold the weight. So I got a lot of heavy duty interfacing. I got the I can't think of what the ribbon is called, but it's a certain type of ribbon you put in a waistline. So when you're sewing that many amount of layers, it's on the base of the waistband of all these layers to hold this amount of fabric, because it's pulling it down, okay? But I like the fact that I went with organza, because organza won't be as heavy as that tulle and all that, and the crinoline. I didn't put none of that in here, and I decided I'm not. And then for me to get away with sewing all this, I did not want to sit there and sew all these layers. So I literally, organza will roll, in these multiple layers. So I just take a lighter, and these is multiple layers, and then I just take the lighter and just, I didn't mean to stick it like that. Don't stick it like that where it's set on fire. You just glide it across, and it'll roll it. It'll do the fabric and roll it, but don't stick it on there like how I stick it on. A lot of people like to use a candle, but you just, do it like that, and it'll like roll the fabric and make it, where you don't have to worry about it coming loose, because this is a lot of fabric to be sewing. And to be honest, all these is my sample dresses. I would not want to sit here and sew this amount. I see why people like to use tulle, because tulle don't fray. but I pick organza. So if you cut all them layers and layers and layers of tulle is not going to fray at the bottom. You'll be fine. But if you use organza, then it's going to fray. So I just, the lighter technique. So we will have to put a modesty panel in here. And I put boning throughout, interface and the ribbon because of the amount of weight and the pulling of this dress, so that I can have all of those things in place. So with these being multiple layers, and I'm going in there and trying to get them and cut them. I've been cutting them in baby steps, so it's still some of them I feel like, because there's multiple layers and it's 30 yards, so I got to go in there and find the layers and make sure. So as you doing the dress to have it in layers, you layer it. You don't want it all the same size, because then you're not going to get that flowy effect. It just all to be on top of each other. But to get it, to get the fabric to be in the layers and give it the volume, you want each layer, you layer it like hair. If this one is longer, then you go shorter, then shorter, what it's in layers. Okay, you do it in layers. But so yes, I need to build a modesty panel. I never did that before. So when I do the modesty panel, that'll be easy, where you take the fabric, the interface, and measure where you want it to go in the back of the corset. And then therefore, when you zip it in the back, that gap that is holding, you won't have that. And also that I got to order that I haven't been doing, you want hook and eyes. You want to take the back of this fabric, because it's heavy, and you want to put a hook and eye on this as well. I haven't been doing that on the other dresses because they did not have these mounts and mounts of layers. So you want to get a hook and eye. You want to use that heavy duty ribbon that goes in the waistband. You want to use interfaces. You want to use your boning. You want to make a modesty panel. I see right now they pick to use tulle versus organza, because organza frays a lot. And you could serge it. I think if you was doing it on a professional level, and this is a dress probably you selling to somebody, you know what I mean, and they probably wanted to be, then I would say, hey, go ahead, go and go do it. Get your serger and all that thread and just go over and over and over and over again. With me, that's a lot of sewing, a lot of thread. Like, this is a lot, and I feel like this is the underbase. Nobody's really gonna see it. So for me personally, if I'm building a dress and I'm making it my way, I wouldn't do it like that. I promise you. I just wouldn't. That's a lot of sewing with all those layers. So with the organza, I just use, a lot of people like to use a candle verse how I was holding it, because you can make it jagged or whatever. But with these being multiple layers, I really didn't care. I just, but you glide it across. Instead of like, you don't hold it where like I did, it'll catch fire. You glide it. So you just keep the fire going, and you just kind of just glide it. So that's why a lot of people use a candle. So we need a modesty panel. We need hook and eyes. And I'm probably going to get another 5 yards, because I want details going all the way around this corset. So I want the top of this dress to have so much pretty volume and stuff like that. And I'd wind up not having enough fabric in order to do that. So I do want to go back and do that. So we got to build the modesty panel, and we got to put a hook and eye, and the back of the corset. When I watched this other dress, like they had these 2 long layers that went, and it kind of like give volume when you walk in. So it's a lot more that I have to do for this dress, but like I say, it's in multiple layers, and all of my layers are not even. They're not even. And I do have to go back in and clean them up a little bit more and kind of go in there. But I got to put it back on the thing, and I got to get down and don't get on my dress. I got to move this dress, and we got to do it in baby steps. But anyway, you guys have a great day. So this dress is not finished. It need a modesty panel. Don't get on my dress. Let me move it. Move. Move, move, move. Move, 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 move. Move. I'm finna get you in 1 second, but I don't want you on my dress. You tell me you have muddy feet. But we got to put the modesty panel. We got to get the hook and eye. We got to get more fabric. But this stitch gun, oh God, I really love it. So if you haven't picked it up, pick it up. So yes, the dress is not finished. So if y'all see like this piece just hanging off, that's not how the dress is going to be. the dress. I don't have a hook and eye, so the weight of the dress, the 10 yards, is a gap back here with the corset where we need to put a modesty panel, so that once that modesty panel is in there and you see the blue, like if you got on your underwear and stuff, that won't show. And then normally in them big fluffy dresses like that, where it's a lot of weight, they always do a modesty panel in it to kind of camouflage that. So I need to do that, the hook and eye, and just perfect the layers, and then get the other 5 yards and perfect the rest of the corset, because I want this dress, like the pleats, I want it to be so pretty and just voluptuous. So this is not complete. I just want to let y'all know. But anyway, y'all have a great day. I gotta go let my buddy out. Toodles. Come on, boy.